Some chimps are sold as pets. When they are small, they are like cute, adorable babies, and they can do the most things that a small human child can do. Some things they do a lot better, like climbing the furniture and swinging from the drapes. But as I said, by the time the chimps are 5 to 7 years old, they can no longer be part of a human family. It's just not safe. So what happens to them? So they think they are human. They don't know how to get on with other chimps. Eventually they can learn, but it takes a long time and most zoos won't take them. So for the most part, they end up in medical research laboratories, which is what happens to a lot of circus chimps as well, because chimp bodies are so like human bodies, and because chimps can get all our disease hundreds are being used in medical research labs by scientists who hope to find cures or vaccines for human illnesses. What is so awful is that these chimps are often treated very badly, as many other labs animals are, by people who either don't care or who don't understand that chimps suffer the way we do, as well as contract our diseases. The chimps are put into the tiny cages, often by themselves, with nothing soft to sit on, nothing to play with, and no one to comfort and love them. When they are hurt, if you do things like this to a human being, he or she goes crazy, so do the chimps. One day, perhaps quite soon, scientists may not not need to use animals for testing drugs and for learning about human disease. They are so clever and at finding other ways to do their research, but until that happens, it is desperately urgent that we try to give those animals being used today much better places to live, much better care, much more respect, and much more love. It is very hard to it is very hard for me to go into a lab where there are chimps, but I have to do that if I want to try to help. I need to see what is going on with my own eyes. So often things you hear secondhand are not quite true. The first lab I visited was the worst. There were little chimps in tiny cages. The cages were inside steel boxes that looked like microwave ovens. This was to prevent microbes from one chimp infecting another or from infecting a human. I couldn't believe that people could treat chimps like that. And I talked to the director and all his stuff. I tried to make them understand why I felt so bad by showing them slides and movies of the chimpanzees' life in the wild, and I talked about the conditions that I had seen in that lab during my lectures all around America. Luckily, the director, who had never had anything to do with chimps before, listened. He realized that he was not treating the animals, in his lab, right? He managed to get more money and he made the cages much bigger. He gave the little chimps toys to play with and climbing structures. Best of all, he began keeping them in pairs instead of by themselves. So, you see, things are getting better, but too slowly, not fast enough. There is so much to do.